迎大家收睇熒幕八爪魚。有 follow 開我哋嘅觀眾朋友咧，就應該知道我哋嚟緊咧會有一個特別嘅旅遊節目——捐窿捐罅發掘大灣區即將播出啦。咁今日咧，我就同大家先一齊先睹為快，睇下 Fairchild 同埋 Manica 點樣帶大家去探索大灣區嘅各個角落，睇下佢哋嘅美食文化，同埋感受一下當地嘅風土人情啊！今次 Fairchild 同 Manica 受到香港旅遊發展局嘅邀請，喺1連8集嘅節目，同大家一齊遊走大灣區，行下充滿藝術氣息嘅購物商場，品嚐特色美食，仲會睇埋夜景添。之後會探索中華傳統文化同美食，拜訪古廟、尋寶同品茶，仲會試下懷舊糕點小食。捐窿捐罅發掘大灣區即將播出，敬請留意啦！睇完 Fairchild 同埋 Manica 去大灣區旅遊嘅精彩內容之後呢，我哋又聚焦翻加國本地嘅開心事，同大家一齊回顧一下今年加拿大國慶日嘅精彩活動，睇下大溫各市嘅市民係點樣慶祝呢一個特別嘅日子。今年國慶，大溫各地嘅慶祝活動依然百花齊放。喺新西敏市 Westminster Pier Park 嘅慶祝活動由中午開始，一直持續到傍晚。場內嘅節目多姿多彩，包括現場音樂表演、兒童遊戲區及多款美食車，為市民帶嚟咗一個充滿歡樂同家庭樂趣嘅國慶日。同時，列治文嘅 Steveston 三文魚節亦如期進行。呢個活動被形容為加拿大最大嘅小型生日派對，係列治文一項傳統節目，歷史可以追溯到80年前添啊！活動由朝早開始，持續到夜晚7點。市民喺活動期間可以享受唔同美食攤檔嘅特色美食之外，仲可以欣賞唔同嘅音樂表演等等。而溫哥華唐人街嘅慶祝活動就加入咗中國文化元素，用舞龍舞獅嘅表演慶祝國慶，充滿特色同活力。喺另一邊 ，Canada Day Drumming 活動亦同時進行，透過打鼓嘅方式連結全國各地嘅市民，共同慶祝加拿大生日。相信國慶當日每個參與活動嘅市民，無論大人同細路，都一定感受到加拿大多元文化嘅熱情同埋團結精神。加拿大國慶呢日嘅慶祝活動唔單止係一場聚會，更加係一次可以展示加拿大精神嘅機會。大家一齊期待下年嘅慶祝活動，再一次體驗呢份喜悅同埋歡樂。咁嚟緊呢，就會同大家分享一個特別人物嘅專訪，英國桌球手 Shaun Murphy 嘅獨家分享。
Hi Canada, I'm Shaun Murphy and I'm a professional snooker player.
Shaun Murphy.Incredible, and a big rising star is born here.
Superb. Fantastic. He's Shaun, the Magician Murphy.
You know, there have been many matches throughout my career, which are very memorable. I think the World Championship in 2005, when I won the final from a long way behind.Winning the Masters in 2015, the UK Championship in 2008. There have been some big games where I was a long way behind. I think one of the most special ones was I beat Ding Junhui in the Wuxi Classic in 2012, and I was 8-2 behind, and I came back to beat him 9-8, and that was very special.The
world champion is not in the elite top 16, but we will be seeing him in every championship next season.
The first time I went to the World Championship was in 1992, and I was just 9 years of age. And then a few years later, when I was 22, I got to go and make my debut there. And I walked out and played Stephen Hendry, who was like God. He was our biggest name in snooker, and I made my debut against him. And I was so nervous.I was really frightened. It was at the Crucible Theatre, which is very famous in our world. That's our most special venue. And I got out there, I was very nervous. As a sports player on my own, when I'm out playing snooker, I don't have anyone in my corner. There are no caddies, there's no coaches, it's just me. You have to fight that challenge on your own. You have to be very strong in your mind because things go wrong all the time. So you have to be very good at coping with negative things, forgetting about them and pushing forward with a positive mindset. I've been working on that very, very hard since I was a young boy, since I was a young player, with good coaches, some sports psychologists. It's very important to get a good coach in your corner who can teach you the right way to do it. Yeah, the reason for coming to Canada is to try to promote snooker. Snooker was very, very popular here in Canada. Back in the 80s, the 70s and 80s, we had Cliff Thorburn, Bill Werbeniuk, Kirk Stevens, Bob Chaperon, some very, very famous names. And so it's great to come back here to try to promote snooker again, get snooker exploding here in Canada because it's becoming so popular all around the world. And we're trying to rejuvenate that interest in Canada, get people playing snooker again, get away from 9-ball, stop playing American pool, let's get back playing snooker, and we're trying to promote that. It's very special for me because I've never been to Canada before. It's my first trip to this amazing country, and so we've been to Calgary and we've been here in Vancouver, and so far it's been amazing. All my dreams of what it would be like in Canada have come true.
Granville Island, it's really famous here in Vancouver. We're really looking forward to it and get stuck in and see what it's got to offer.
I think the best experience so far away from snooker has been going to the Capilano suspension bridge in Vancouver. It was absolutely amazing. It was so beautiful to be up there, and I got some really good snaps for my Instagram. Which they look great, you know, it was brilliant, all through the sun, through the trees, and the bridge was a bit wobbly, but it was a great experience and we had a great time. The best piece of advice I could ever give to any young players wanting to be a professional player is get a good coach, listen to what they say, practice, 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 and when you think you've done enough practice, do some more practice.
聽完 Sean Murphy 嘅專訪，完全可以明白佢係點樣透過努力同埋堅持獲得成功㗎。其實好多藝術家都係咁樣去追求佢哋嘅夢想。而家咧就介紹一個展覽俾大家睇下原住民藝術家嘅精彩作品啦。Creation Stories Carrying Our Traditions Forward 展覽係由 YVR 藝術基金會同溫哥華博物館合作舉辦，每年揀選10位新進或者處於中期職業階段嘅原住民藝術家，提供各樣嘅幫助。而家就等 YVR 藝術基金會嘅行政總監 Elizabeth 同大家分享下成個活動嘅理念啊！
Every year, the YVR Art Foundation awards up to $50,000 in scholarships to Indigenous artists from First Nations artists from BC and Yukon. We award for emerging artists and mid-career artists. And with that scholarship, they go away for a year and they work with a mentor or a master artist, or perhaps enroll in a school of art to create a new work. When it comes back the year later, founding donor YVR International Airport to display the works at YVR. And the works are there for about a year, and after they're done for a year, they come here to an amazing exhibition at the Museum of Vancouver. As the theme of this exhibition is mentorship. Mentorship is incredibly important to learn the traditional practices so that younger and up-and-coming artists can learn those traditional methods from the masters that really knew how to do these things and do them well. Many of the pieces are actually cultural artifacts and cultural objects of significance for Indigenous communities and their families. For instance, this piece here was made by Danica, and she created pieces of regalia, I believe for one of her nephews. So these would be used in ceremonies. So they're not necessarily just to look at and appreciate, but they also form an important part of cultural rituals. Or sometimes we have a conceived idea of what Indigenous art might be or First Nations art might be, and to see what these wonderful contemporary artists are doing by using the traditional practices and sometimes making very traditional ceremonial pieces, but then sometimes also pushing the envelope, advance those practices for future generations. 呢個展覽真係為原住民藝術家提供咗一個大嘅舞台。我哋又嚟聽下展覽入邊其中2位原住民藝術家關於佢哋嘅創作靈感同理念嘅分享啦。
There are 2 steam bend hinkits masks So they're kind of like a sea serpent mask. The wood on the mask is actually steam bent around. So instead of just being 3 pieces of wood joined together, I actually steamed the front, so that's why they have that kind of gorgeous curve to them. And they're always made in pairs, they're always made in sets. And so I wanted to have them almost positioned as if they're like dancers in motion. So these 2 pieces are actually inspired from pieces that are in the museum collection in Victoria. Traditionally, we used to dance masks very similar to this. There was a process of steam bending the front of them to make them all out of one continuous board. So I'd seen this in old museum collections from hundreds of years ago that were taken from our community. And so this project is kind of to recreate those old traditional pieces and make them in a different style, but really inspired from those old pieces from my community.
Lematuchen atasnet, which in Hokkaido it means night watcher. And so I had this idea of doing this piece that was more this landscape scene and the bird looking out at the night sky. And so that was a major inspiration for that piece. I work within the style of traditional Coast Salish art, and it's really important to me to use traditional style. There's been a long history of disrespect and erasure of Coast Salish art within our territories. Uses the shapes and the visual language that our ancestors used is really important to tell stories and to do work that's my own lived experience and what it means to be Indigenous today in Canada.
每件作品都有佢嘅獨特之處，觀眾可以更加深入咁了解原住民嘅創意。展覽將會持續至9月18號，大家唔好錯過啦！今次嘅展覽真係好值得一睇啊！每一件作品都令人深思，尤其係佢哋點樣透過藝術去表達佢哋對家庭同埋文化嘅敬意同埋情感。佢哋唔單止係一場展覽啊，更加係一次對於文化嘅傳承同埋分享。Rick， 你哋嗰邊有啲咩精彩活動分享俾大家呢？
轉頭返嚟，我哋有特備環節《美麗傳奇30載》。今集有2003年多倫多華裔小姐冠軍 Serena 李喬恩嘅訪問，再帶大家去 Burlington 鐵路模型俱樂部同一位發燒友傾下偈。廣告返嚟繼續，熒幕八爪魚。今年多倫多華裔小姐踏入30週年，絕對係一個值得慶祝嘅里程碑啊！位位華姐段段故事，跟住落嚟每個禮拜嘅特備環節《美麗傳奇30載》，我哋都會邀請歷屆華姐上嚟，同我哋分享下佢哋嘅選美同埋人生故事。第一集我哋就請嚟2003年多倫多華裔小姐冠軍 Serena 李喬恩同我哋聚下舊啊！
大家好，我係李喬恩 Serena， 好耐冇見啦！
今日好高興可以請到 Serena 上嚟同我哋傾下偈。咁不如先同我哋觀眾分享下近排都忙緊啲乜嘢？
好啊，近排最忙就係做媽咪咯。我而家有2個女，分別係8歲同埋5歲。咁因為早幾年有疫情咧，我哋一家人就冇機會去旅行，而我2個女咧就好中意去沙灘啊、游水啊。咁所以我哋啱今年4月咧就帶咗佢哋去娃兒玩啦。
哇，聽起嚟真係好興奮喎！
係啊，冇錯，尤其是佢2個真係好中意去娃兒，所以佢哋今年非常之開心，有機會再去咯。
咁回望華姐之旅啦，咁有冇啲咩最特別啊、最印象深刻嘅回憶呢？
其實印象最深刻嘅時刻真係有好多，所以都好難揀啊！但係我自己最中意嘅時刻咧，就係能夠同其他參選華姐去瀑布度拍攝當晚嗰個外景啦，同埋有機會喺一個好大型嘅舞台度演出，有觀眾、有我屋企人同埋有朋友喺現場觀看同埋支持我咯。
咁仲有冇其他嘅分享呢？
有啊，其實參加完多倫多華裔小姐競選之後咧，我有機會返香港參加國際中華小姐競選啦。而嗰3個禮拜咧，我有機會認識30個唔同地方嘅佳麗，咁我哋又係有機會去拍外景啦，同埋又係喺一個好大型舞台度演出咯。
睇嚟真係好興奮嘅一個回憶啊！
係啊，同埋喺嗰3個禮拜內真係學到非常之好多嘢。
咁得獎之後有冇啲咩收穫呢？有冇對你之後嘅人生有所改變呢？
有啊，其實因為參加華裔小姐競選係一個好大型舞台嘅表演，而我之前咧就冇呢啲咁嘅經驗嘅。但係好彩我哋咧就有一班導師嘅教導啦，同埋佢哋嘅鼓勵，所以加強咗我自己嘅自信心。 咁對於我而家喺社會做事咧，就咁accepting new challenges， 即係新嘅挑戰咯。所以我覺得對我人生嘅影響係非常之大。
咁啱啱你有講你有2位囡囡啦，咁你會唔會鼓勵佢哋去參加華姐咧？
我2個囡囡都好細，出未知，但係因為佢哋2個都好中意唱歌、跳舞、表演。如果第時佢哋係有興趣嘅話，我當然會支持佢哋啦。
今日好高興可以請到 Serena 上嚟同我哋傾下偈，同埋分享佢嘅故事啦。咁希望下次有機會再見啦，拜拜。
今時今日，紋身已經係一件好平常嘅事，更加係現代人表達自己嘅方式。1年1度嘅多倫多國際紋身博覽會，召集咗全球嘅紋身大師，為大家帶嚟最新嘅紋身潮流啊！
多倫多國際紋身博覽會係加拿大歷史最悠久，而且規模最大嘅紋身活動。今年活動喺全球邀請咗超過500位紋身師，吸引咗好多遊客到場，相當熱鬧啊
！This year is our 24th year, and this year we have over 500 artists from all over the world plying their trade, tattooing on the floor. You know, we try and make it a great experience for people, having a wide range of walking entertainment and stage entertainment.
嚟到呢度，除咗可以擁有新嘅紋身，同時又可以同各位大師偷下師。我就打聽過啦，想成為一個成功嘅紋身藝術家，一定要具備以下嘅條件。首先，當然要有返咁上下嘅美術功底啦。紋身師諮詢顧客意見之後，通常會喺紙上面畫出紋身嘅草圖，落實具體嘅紋身圖案。
Most people come here, they want to do a bit of good work, enter the competitions, because we do have competitions that are strictly just for fresh tattoos for each day, tattoo of the day. So, you know, some of these guys, they get a little competitive and they try and pull off something big and beautiful for the show. We definitely try and have a wide range of vendors. There's interesting, weird stuff that people can buy, and you don't have to have a tattoo to watch the show, enjoy the music, and just the vibe of the people. You know, this is a great place to people watch because there's definitely some unusual people here.
另一方面，紋身師要通過專業嘅培訓，獲得相關嘅牌照，先可以進行執業。就好似多倫多咁，紋身師首先要完成一系列衛生同安全培訓課程，學習感染控制、衛生標準、設備消毒嘅知識，然後再向多倫多市政府申請一個名為提供個人服務操作嘅許可，先可以合法營業。過程一啲都唔簡單㗎。
Burlington 鐵路模型俱樂部創立於上個世紀80年代，到而家已經擁有好多會員啦。佢哋每個禮拜都會進行聚會，為3個唔同規模嘅鐵路模型進行創作㗎。
擁有接近40年歷史嘅 Burlington 鐵路模型俱樂部係模型發燒友嘅樂園。佢哋希望透過每個禮拜嘅聚會以及日常交流，推廣模型製作嘅文化同歷史，同時令會員可以一齊享受製作模型嘅樂趣。
This is the club for enthusiasts of model trains, and we have model trains in 3 different scales. We have the HO scale here, we have the smaller N scale ones, and we have the G gauge outside. So we're a club for model railway enthusiasts, for people who like running stuff like this, but maybe don't have enough room at home for a layout like this, so they can bring their equipment here and run it. So that's how it works. The container train over there is a representation of a modern container train that you might see outside running on the rail tracks. Most of us try to put together equipment consists that are representative of the real thing.
啱啱提到嘅3種比例，其實講緊嘅係模型同真實火車及路軌之間嘅比例關係，係屬於非常常見嘅鐵路模型製作。N scale 代表最細小嘅模型，為1:160，適合空間有限嘅愛好者。HO scale 係最受歡迎嘅模型比例，標準比例1:87。HO scale 適合大部分嘅愛好者， 可以 keep 到模型細節之餘，又 balance 到空間需求。最大型嘅 G scale 比例為1:22.5，通常用於室外花園鐵路。由於空間比較大，操作相對簡單。
Most of the equipment is ready to run, meaning you can get it from the manufacturer pretty much the way you see it here. Now, some people do custom build stuff. One of our members who should be out a little later does a lot of custom building. And you could take something which is ready to run and modify it. You could repaint it. You could fit different detail paintings, different detail parts. A lot of people who are interested in this kind of thing are also historians. So they're interested in replicating real equipment that ran in the past. They'll research it, they'll get lots of photographs, and they'll try to make their equipment run as much as they can like the real thing. Some of the locomotives also have sound and lights, and you can make them run just like the real thing, only a lot smaller.
無論選擇邊個比例，模型愛好者嘅終極目標都係希望自己嘅作品可以同真實世界嘅火車一樣，順利喺鐵路運行。
提到意大利，一定唔少得各種令人流晒口水嘅美食啊！多倫多意大利風情節就為市民提供最地道嘅意式美食同埋意大利文化。
多倫多嘅小意大利區 Little Italy 係一個充滿活力又歷史悠久嘅社區，位於 College Street 夾 Ossington Avenue 以及 Barfoot Street 之間。呢一帶有好多地道嘅意大利餐廳、咖啡店、酒吧同精品店，受到唔少多倫多居民同遊客歡迎。每年夏天，小意大利區都會舉辦好多文化活動同節日，吸引大量遊客參加，一齊享受意大利嘅美食、音樂同娛樂。Taste of Little Italy 意大利風情節就係當中最熱鬧嘅慶典啦。喺活動嘅主舞台有一連串意大利現場音樂表演。附近嘅意大利餐廳亦都有到場擺檔，為大家提供各種傳統意大利美食。不過講到最特別嘅，當然就係主辦方同意大利旅遊局合作舉辦呢個項目啦。
Our goal is to celebrate together with Italian Canadians the Italian heritage in this month, which is dedicated to Italian heritage, and to offer a presentation of our traditions, of our cultures, of our food, of our way of living, of the beauty of our territory, that we invite Canadians with Italian origins to discover and to live. I mean, our motto is Bentornati a casa, which in English means welcome home. This is because these kind of visitors, they are travelers, they don't come to Italy just to visit Venice, Florence, Rome, I mean the beauty of that everybody knows. No, they come to live a special experience. They want to reconnect with the history, the memories that they received from the generation which anticipated them, the grandmother, the great-grandmother, and they want to see the places exactly the way described in these tales that they heard while they were living their lives.
今集嘅節目時間就差唔多啦，不過精彩陸續有嚟。今晚9點，新時代電視一台將會播出《那些年這些歌》精選歌曲大賽第2季。Vicky 記得準時收睇，一齊見證冠軍誕生啊
！Rick， 多謝你嘅提醒啊！我一定唔會錯過《那些年這些歌》精選歌曲大賽，大家一定記得收睇啦！好啦，今集時間又差唔多，我哋下個星期同樣時間熒幕八爪魚再見啦！拜拜。